Rocking out with our out, man. How y'all doing, everybody? How y'all
Got in
doing?
that motherfucker, like, you feel me? My
Slid in
mic
her
was
DMs
muted,
like,
but you like that slide in there? You like
you
that?
know what I mean?
Somebody on this motherfucker looking fresh.
Slid in her DMs like,
I
you know
ain't
my
really
boy
a hat
Troy
guy,
and
but
that
we
new
gonna
fresh
pop it
from
off.
the sideline drop, man. Y'all
You
see him?
feel me? That's a little bit more my style. Like, that's a little bit more comfortable. You feel me?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
We up in there, man. What's up, Moolage? What's up, Moo?
What up, dog? Man, I can actually show, you know what I'm saying, this flag right here behind me because we actually won, you know what I'm saying, in overtime. And then I can show this flag over here as well, you know what I'm saying, now right there because, you know what I'm saying, Clay came back with the 41 piece. Yeah, Splash Bros looking scary. So, yeah, we back. We
Yeah.
out
I
here.
mean, yeah. I guess you can say that, but we'll save that for the football show. We might have some more guys stopping by today. You know, Mel Southside might be in the house today. We got Lamar. You're gonna stop in a little later, you know. But since it's just me and Moo, you know, let's just start with the start with. You feel me?
Let's get it
You
popping.
know, I posted the TikTok from the last conversation we had. Joel Embiid's 59-point game against the Utah Jazz. And it's my guy Telly. My guy Telly on TikTok. You know, he comes through with the combo. Shout out Telly. But I told you we was gonna talk about it. I didn't tell you it was gonna be the first thing we talked about, but I told you we talked about it, right?
First up on the dock, man.
So I said that the Jazz are supposed to be a bottom of the league team. I don't think I'm wrong by saying that.
Which they will be.
Nobody agreed. Nobody thought the Jazz coming into this motherfucker, right, into this season was going to light shit up, right? Just like nobody expected Golden State Warriors to be out of the play-in right now. We didn't expect that. So unexpectedly, things are happening.
Things happen all
But
the time.
as
Crazy
we
season.
look at the game of basketball, we have seen, you know, so-so teams in the area of bad teams, whatever you want to call them, right? Start out hot, come out and win some game.
The Kings are on a 6-game winning streak right now.
The Spurs did it. Where's the Spurs right now? Bottom of the league. See, it happened to them quicker than it's gonna happen to the Jazz. You feel where I'm going, Telly?
They'll be there soon. You got
Telly,
to just give them. Got to give them some time. You just got to give them some time.
Telly.
They shall be there real soon. You just gotta
Like,
give them some time to get back
I
right.
don't understand where you get off calling the Jazz a top team because they're the number one seed right now in the West. Like we if that's what we want to do, you feel me? The Bulls was a top team when they was number one seed in the East last year.
They sure
Everybody
were.
thought they would be a top team, but people knew when it came down to the playoffs, they were going only to the second round, and that was it. We know the Jazz, if they make it to the playoffs, they get bounced, swept, broom. Here you go. Let me sweep your house. Let me clean your floors, you know? That's what's going to happen to the Jazz. I mean, them guys out there fighting and doing their thing. I'm not going to take none away from them. But they're a bottom team. When you look at it, when you compare their team to other teams in the West, they don't stand on the same level as them teams. They're playing tremendous right now. Taking nothing away from them guys. But
They're
let's
playing
just
great
look at the
basketball
standings, Telly.
and have a solid roster, but the West as a whole right now is in shambles. Honestly, it's absolutely crazy when you look at it. Like,
Telly said, first comment, Moolage. That's right, Telly. We going down the list, man. You don't know this.
oh yeah, we gonna talk about it.
Just
Okay,
to call out the TikTokers, right? You know, I ain't gonna get to everything I said, but I'm gonna point out to what you said. I'm gonna try to cut in what I said and what it is. You feel me? You said supposed to be at the bottom of the league. when you have good role players who play their role, ain't no excuse on why they wouldn't be at the bottom of the league. That's great. Having role players is great, but they're called role players, Telly, for a reason. Because they need a captain to their ship, right? They need a captain to their ship. You said later on in this that they don't have a superstar to clog up the bar, but we'll get to that, right? So I basically hit you with the Jazz. They're playing good, but they're supposed to be at the bottom of the league. You feel me? You said so. What the Nets are doing happens all the time, any given day, and any given day, the best aren't always going to be the best, and the worst aren't always going to be ass.
Is that true though? Because I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. Because the Rockets still suck. The Spurs started off hot. They still suck. OKC started off winning solid games, and Shy was going crazy. Their ass again. Like I don't know. Everybody had high hopes for Minnesota. They're horrible right now.
Like
even Dallas is not playing good basketball. Like it's interesting because
if we look at the standings, right? We're gonna get there. Telly, we're gonna get there, but good teams are always not good teams. Yes, we know good teams struggle. Look at Boston, a testament to it. They came out and struggled the first half of last year, turned that bitch around and got to a finals. But you want to know why, Telly? It's because they are a good team. That's why they are
they
a
were a
good
good
team.
team. They were already a good team.
They are a good team. That's why they're able to turn it around and switch it and get back to it. The Nets, right? To what you're saying, right? Telly, Nets was the number 1 seed when KD was healthy. And then they dropped all the way to what, the 11th? The 11th seed? Right? When he went out. And then he comes back and gets them to a 7th seed. You want to know why? Because they have a makings of a good team.
They already have a top team.
That's fucking why, Telly. Like, Telly, it's common sense. I understand you. I don't know how old you are, so I ain't gonna cut your age. I don't want to attack you. Now, you my boy. You always showing love on TikTok, but hey, this your segment, Telly. This your segment. You feel me? Because we had a long conversation, So then I said something about, again, bad teams being bad teams and playing good for a little bit, and they'll end up back where they're supposed to be. Just like Golden State is playing bad right now. They're at the bottom, and I think an 11th spot. And they'll get back up to the top 5 seed. I'm not questioning that. I don't think nobody else is questioning the Warriors getting from the 11th to the 3rd seed. Everybody thinks they can do that.
Absolutely.
But if I'm saying the Jazz is going to fall from the 1st seed to the bottom 3 seed, I'm crazy. Like, I don't understand this, Telly. I want to know who backs you up, Telly. Somebody else got to give me some feedback on that side of it because I don't understand it. So you said, what the Jazz is doing the norm, I contradicted myself with my own statement. And, like you said, role players understanding who they are, no superstar to put too much light on them, and they're shining. I can agree with there's not a superstar there to put light on them, and they are shining, right? They are shining, but that does not make them a good team. you fucking feel me? Like, the point is, Telly, is that we know, whether you want to look at on paper or play on the court, that this is a good team. The Nuggets, we know it. All things I say, we know the Nuggets are a good team, right? We know the Suns are a good team with all the shit Chris Paul gets and Devin. They are a good team. We know those teams can possibly contend for a championship, right? But when we're talking about the Jazz, the Spurs, at this state, the way they are, when they're going against those teams, when it matters most, come on, bro. You're not going to say and tell me that the Jazz are a top 5 team. Not seed. Team, you said. You said team. They're a top 5 team. There you go on to explain. Example, the Suns, a bottom team, gets Chris Paul, then they're a top team in the West. All they needed is one piece to stop trying to act like they bums. And I counted that with saying they had one player who had all-star potential, Ayton. and one player who had superstar potential, Booker. All they needed was somebody to put that shit together. And guess what Chris Paul is able to do? Put shit together. So you're taking away from the Suns. Yes, they had a bad record. I think it was like 31-43 the year before that. But you're taking away from the experience that Chris Paul has with those guys still developing in the league.
Not to mention,
Ayton still developing in the league. Then you got Cam Johnson that came along. You develop Bridges. You added Crowder.
added campaign.
The Morris,
You started adding all these young pieces. Yep, started adding
Chris
all these
Paul
young pieces
to make that team work. You're not going to tell me that Suns team was the same team from that 31-win team to when they went the next year and won 50 games. You're not doing that, bro. The core was the same in Booker and Ayton, but they didn't have the same team. It was a turnaround, bro. A lot of people left. A lot of people came in to fit the scheme of bringing Chris Paul in. That happens all the time. But back to your TikTok shit. The Suns, because I said I was calling them funny, and Telly, shout out to Telly. I got respect for Telly. The Suns were horrible before Chris Paul. They never were a good team. We're not fitting to do that. Nets were one piece away from contenders. Went and got 3 and lost any given day, and I don't like that, Telly, because you're not adding context.
I was gonna say that's not the proper context.
You're not adding context. You're not adding context. You got to add that KD missed the first year of them adding the 2, Kyrie and KD. KD missed his first year. In the second year, KD only played 35 games. That's the year James Harden came over, which he came over in the middle of the season, missed some games towards that back end too. And then KD almost took them to the Eastern Conference Finals, damn near with a hobbled team, right? So we're not going to just gloss over what he's been through to get to the road. And then he comes back last year and he plays 55 games, dealing with another injury. So we're not going to act like they got the pieces and they were healthy and they can't win. No, they can't stay healthy.
They have a lot of health problems. Joe Harris got hurt last year and he was hurt the year before. He's been in and out of the lineup. So there's been a lot that's attributed to the Nets not going to. Kyrie's been in and out of the lineup. James Harden, Ben Simmons, they've consistently been unhealthy to not been able to put any kind of runs together. And the one year that he damn near got him to the finals himself, or Eastern Conference Finals to himself, I'm talking about shoe size away. I think that's when we have to. Yeah, we can judge them off that compared to what they're doing or what they're not doing when they're not fully healthy. So. Compared to the Jazz, where you guys, at the end of the day, the Jazz get to the end of the season and are probably one of the most healthiest teams in the league and don't do anything with it. They literally don't do anything with it. It's the craziest thing ever that how can you be considered a top team if in the playoffs you don't do anything in it? Consistently though, consistently in the playoffs, you don't do anything. And I'm trying to figure out a team that essentially spent more to build around a young star player hasn't achieved anything to the point where that star player wants to be traded and is traded now. And it's probably closer to getting to at least an Eastern Conference or an Eastern Conference Finals now than he was getting to a Western Conference Finals with the Jazz. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's players. I guess we'll see that when Donovan Mitchell gets to the playoffs in the East. I don't know, but something for the Jazz always falls down or falls apart at the end of the season. So it's how can you consider them a top team when they go against the top teams? Because that's at the end of the day, when you go against a top team and you take out that top team, that's what determines if you're a top team or not. This is the reason why, and we're going to come to this later. This is the reason why I don't consider the Kings, what the Kings are doing, relevant at the moment. But we'll get to that later. If you come against these teams in the playoffs and you consistently lose to these teams in the playoffs, you can't be considered a top team because those are the top teams. You're losing to the top teams. you're an average to middle of the
It
pack
doesn't
team
matter
of
where
getting in the
how you
playoffs.
start. It matters how you finish. That is a real saying, and it's a real saying because we have seen hot starts from bad teams, and they finish fall off a fucking cliff. We didn't seen it. It happens in sports all the time. But you go on to say the Jazz develop players as well. So okay, again, so how are the Jazz a bad team if they are being developed as well, and the goal is to tank? But listen, I'm not saying
Who
nothing
did the
about
Jazz develop?
tanking.
Who did the Jazz develop?
I'm not thinking about tanking anything, and that's a good point. Who did the Jazz develop?
Yeah,
They're in the
I'm
developing
curious.
stage now. You can say that, yes.
I'm
But
curious.
when we're talking about who are we? We were talking about the Suns. When I said the Suns had developing pieces,
Yeah,
Booker, Aiden, Cam Johnson is a developing piece. Miles Bridges, with Malik Bridges, Mikal Bridges, right?
yeah, Mikal Bridges.
Mikal Bridges. I went through 3 fucking names to get to his. Mikal Bridges, development. They went out and got pieces like we can't do this, Telly.
They went out and got young veteran
We
pieces
can't
that
do this.
have already been in the league, like Campaign. He had already been
I
in the league
also
a
hit
few
him.
years.
I forgot what he said. He said something, and I said something back, and I was like, Troy said so. But I wasn't saying that, Telly, to tell you I'm saying it, and that's what it is. I was saying it to let you know who you were talking to. You're talking to Troy, and this is the one saying it, so you can direct it all towards me. So he was like, oh, I forgot, Troy said so. I laughed at that. But we go on and on about the Jazz not being a top team, Jazz being a top team, and you say that the Jazz don't have a superstar. That's why he said that's why it's easier for them to do. Like, no, bro. Like the top of the top teams always figured out, and the top team's always going to be the last 4 teams standing in each conference.
Exactly.
Like, unless there are upsets that happen, there are anomalies. We're not discounting the anomalies, but if you're going to tell me the Jazz is going to have a historic season where they have nobody and they make it to a Western Conference final, then that becomes an anomaly.
Exactly.
Because it's not done often, bro.
Because you can't be a good team without a superstar.
I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys professionals. Every single one of you can bust my ass. But you're not that damn good compared to other teams, especially in the 7-game series. When it all matters to win a championship, to get down to the grit, to the grind. Like,
he answered his own question though. Like, you can't be a top team or a top tier team without a quote unquote superstar. They have no superstar, so you guys can't be labeled as a top team with no true number one, like no true superstar that's going to carry your team to different paths and different levels of the playoffs or of the hierarchy and of the NBA. Like, the reason why these teams are top teams is because they have the league's top players. Is anybody on the Jazz's team a top 20, top 15 player? Like, no, you can't name. I got the Jazz's roster right here. None of these players are top 20, top 15 players.
They're just playing their ass off, man. We got to give it.
They're playing great basketball, and they all.
The thing
about this roster is they all complement each other very, very well. They all complement each other's games very, very well. But that doesn't mean they don't have a superstar, somebody that can literally grind them out of tough games and tough situations. They're trying to turn Lauri Markkanen into that. If he can stay healthy and if he can put together a great season, then on a consistent basis, then possibly. But at this point in moment, like, you guys don't have any true number one, any true superstar to where you guys can lean on in late game situations, in late playoff situations, in championship situations, to the point where, like, hey, take us to the promised land. I don't see anybody on this roster that can do that. So you guys can't be considered a top team if you guys don't have nobody to lean on like that.
You said top team, and I'm sitting here like, there ain't no way. What's up, Mel?
Feel
me, Mel? Hold on, Mel. You feel me?
I heard you show me some juice.
You feel me?
So I
fresh from the sideline.
Yeah.
Drop.
You feel me?
It looks good on you, sir.
It's absolutely in the blood, baby. It's running through the blood. Some people don't understand that, but it's running through the blood, baby.
Yeah.
You feel me? But it's uncomfortable that way because I'm not used to wearing hats, so I'm gonna put it back. Not to it. The way it's meant to be. Oh, and I got it here. I like that. That's cool. But yeah, we're talking about the guy Telly on Instagram. Man, that's my boy. Shout out Telly again. We's going back and forth over the Jazz thing. He said the Jazz are a top team in the West. And I can't take it. I can't take it because they're a top seeded team. They're a top seeded team right now in the West.
They're not a top team.
Not a top team in the West, bro. Just like the Golden State Warriors are a bottom seeded team right now, they are not a bottom 4 team in the West, bro.
If last night didn't show you that.
Not a bottom. So Telly, I love you, bro. Thank you for the support on TikTok. Keep coming with the comments, man. You might find yourself in this segment again. You know, when we call out the TikTokers. We ain't got a name for it yet, but we're working on it. You feel?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. If Steph Curry gonna give you 33 points and 15 assists and 7 rebounds, and Klay Thompson gonna give you 40, you in for a long night.
That's what I wanted to do. Now that Mel here, Mel, you reminded me. So before we get off of it, Telly, let's go through one more thing, right? Top team, you said. Fucking top team. They're a top team. Oh, that's the funniest thing I heard all year. Top team. So let's go through the Western teams, and you tell me who is this top team beating in the West in a 7-game series. That's what we're gonna do, Telly. All right, so let's start. The Lakers. We can start at the Lakers.
Nobody.
At the bottom of the West right now.
With the way AD's playing, absolutely not.
So the Jazz don't even beat the Lakers in the 7-game series.
I don't even care if LeBron is not playing. With the way AD's playing right now, absolutely not. The Jazz are not beating the Lakers. I'm sorry. That's not happening.
See, I like that.
Because AD's been tripping as of lately. Healthy AD,
right.
He's been tripping as of lately. So no.
I'm skipping Houston, San Antonio, OKC. All right. Golden State Warriors.
No.
I know what it is, man. Don't play with my boys.
Minnesota.
No. Because Rudy knows that everything. No, it's not gonna happen, and he's gonna make Lauri Markkanen's life absolutely difficult. No.
Dallas.
Luka Magic. No.
New Orleans.
Nope.
The Clippers.
Bi and Zion going for 30 each.
The Clippers.
Kawhi gonna turn up out of nowhere and beat
Memphis.
the shit out of him. Hell no.
Nope.
Hell no.
I'm skipping the Kings because they're gonna be a bottom team.
Shout out Sacramento.
Shout out Sacramento, but you guys know where you're going. All right, Denver.
Nope.
Portland.
Nope. Well,
they can make it a series against Portland, but
they can make it a series.
Is going to come through. And
the Kings are there. I'll put the Kings in. The Kings, they could beat the Kings in the 7-game series.
No. If you watch any Kings games right now,
it'll be a 6-7-game series.
Yeah, it'll be a long series, but the Kings have a lot of offensive firepower that I just don't think the Jazz can deal with, and they're not good on the road. Look at the stats right now. Jazz aren't good on the road. I don't think they can do it.
You feel me? Then we got the Suns.
Hell no. Chris Paul's not even. This is the thing about the Suns. Chris Paul's not even playing right now, and they're still very, very good, which means he's been in Campaign's ear. And that's dangerous because Campaign is a better shooter than Chris Paul.
If not the best, he's one of the best backup point guards in the league right now.
And Chris Paul has been mentoring him, so people should be terrified because he takes coaching points very, very well. That was one of his things coming out of college. He takes coaching points very, very well. And if he's learning from Chris Paul, people should be scared. People should be very, very scared because the fact that Chris Paul isn't playing and Campaign is in that spot and they haven't slouched at all, that's people should be aware.
Sorry for your Taz. I'll speak to you again on TikTok because I'm gonna clip a part of this where Telly, not Taz, Telly. I'm gonna clip a part of this and just show you some more love. You feel me? But yeah, the Jazz are not a top team. They're a top seeded team right now. But
they're top seeded right now. They're playing. They're playing good.
We seen the last year be a 1 seed, fall all the way down to the 11th seed, and then come back up to the 7th, just like that, within a couple of games. And just to let you know, Telly, between the Jazz, right, being in the 1st seed, right now as we speak, they're in the 1st seed, to the team being in the 2nd seed, which is the Sun, who's back 1 game, right? They're back 1 game from the Jazz, right? And then goes 3rd spot, 1 game, 4th spot, 1 game, 5th spot, 1.5 games, 6th spot, 1.5 games, 7th spot, 1.5 game, 2 games, 2 games, 3 games for the New Orleans in 8th, Dallas in 9, and then 3 for Minnesota and 3.5 for Golden State. So I mean, they're so the best team right now. Sorry, the Jazz
Yeah.
are the best
You
team.
lose 2 games and you end up the fucking 8th seed.
Boom. Just like
Back
that.
at the bottom where you belong.
Just like that.
And it's not a
So
bad thing, bro. We're gonna have good teams and we're going to have bad teams.
No, it's I mean, and it's
Just how the league
always
works.
in the first half of the NBA season, no one really cares about.
it's still football season. Like baseball's just ending. Like it's All Star Week hasn't even hit yet. Like we're not really worried
Yeah.
about it. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's off season. Like it's a lot of stuff happens early. The Warriors went like
Right.
freaking 20 something in forever in the beginning of the season last season, and then went 3 months on a horrible ass fucking losing streak and shooting slump, only to win
Yep.
the championship in the next summer. Like, come on, it happens. Like
No, if
let the
they keep it
season
up,
develop.
if they keep it up, that's something totally different. We can revisit that in fucking March.
Mm-hmm. Well, then we'll be having a different conversation. Like if Laurie keeps going on his crazy, what I'm saying, scoring
Mm,
trip, and they stay
And
consistent, then yeah,
as a Bulls fan, I can tell you, Laurie Marketing, not that guy. Just
it's
saying, as the resident Bulls fan, I know Laurie Marketing.
yeah, it's just he has to stay consistent. He has to stay healthy. There's a lot that you're going to ask him to do if you're going to look at him to because from what I've seen, it seems like the Jazz are trying to build around a Mike Conley, Laurie offense, Laurie marketing type offense. But if you're going to make
Mhm.
Laurie the focal point, then he has to be consistent. He has to stay healthy, and he
Yep.
has to be able to do it on both sides of the ball. I don't think he's going to be able to do that for a whole season. So
Nope. We haven't seen him do it.
ever. So I
So
just don't. I don't see. I see
the
the Jazz
Jazz,
looking good, but they're going to
the
fall off.
Jazz, the Jazz are a team, and this is going to be, it's going to sound worse than what it is. I give them all the respect in the world, but the Jazz are a team built to 6 men.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Like
true.
it's a bunch of 6 men on that team, like
That's true.
up and down the roster.
My,
I mean, I'm not. It's not a knock on them, but that's just
It's
what they
not,
are.
not absolutely not. But that's crazy because that's absolutely true.
what you say, man? I missed it. What's crazy?
No, I was just saying we were just talking about the Jazz roster, and I was like, the Jazz roster is a roster full of 6 men. Like they don't have a legit starter.
But no, that's what Telly was saying. Telly was saying the only reason why I'm saying the Jazz should be at the bottom of the league is because they did not have a superstar. And what I'm saying is, if you stack the Jazz roster up against any
It's
other
not even.
roster or the top teams in the West, they don't stand next to them. That's what I'm saying.
It's not even a superstar. It's just that they're
They don't have nobody. They don't
everybody
have an all-star. They don't have a star. They don't.
who's good on their
It's
team
a bunch
was
of role players.
literally, yeah, was just they're just a
Whole
bunch
bunch
of
of
nice role players.
That's crazy.
A bunch of nice role players. That's 100%. I agree with you.
Oh, that's crazy, but it's true because like everybody on the team is like it's like the craziest 6 man.
On any other team, what would they be?
Oh, dang, that's wild.
And it's cool. Like you can
That's
win with
funny
that.
as hell, man.
I'm not saying that they couldn't win, but the problem is how much can you win, and when it matters, can they win? And I just don't think you put them in a 7 game series against. If the playoffs started today, and let's just say the Warriors ended up with the 8th seed, do you think they're beating the Warriors in a 7 game series? No,
Absolutely not.
like that's
Not at
not going to
all.
happen. That's not going to happen, and it's not anything against. They just don't have the talent. There's no talent. You can't you at some point you're going to get out talented by a more talented team.
Yeah, and it
And
seems to me they're trying to. I kind of see what they're doing. Like they inserted Jordan Clarkson in the starting lineup, Mike Conley, and then Laurie Markin and Jared Vanderbilt and Kelly Olynyk. But where in
and
that starting lineup is
and Jordan
Sound like the
Clarkson,
names KD was naming the other day
we've seen Jordan Clarkson as the starter, and I like Jordan Clarkson as a player, but he found his niche as the sixth
as a
man.
6 man, right?
it's a 6 man?
Don't take him away from that because now what are you going to get off the bench? Like you're hurting yourself because you think, oh well, we can get those 18 to 22 points in the starting lineup. No, you're not. because now he has to split that with a Mike Conley or whoever, marketing and the rest of them dudes. Like, let the dude come off the bench. Let him continue to light it up off the bench.
But the only people right now this is the reason why I said I see exactly what the Jazz are doing. They're taking Jordan Clarkson and they're putting him in that starting role as a shooting guard. What they're doing is they're taking Colin Sexton and Malik Beasley and they're having them run the second unit. But they have no big man and they have no wings in that second unit. It's just Colin and it's just Malik. When you watch the Jazz games and Jordan Clarkson's not out there, Lauri Markkanen's not out there, Mike Conley's actually hurt right now. It's literally just Malik Beasley shooting threes. He's the only person keeping him in the game until the starters come back in. Nobody else is really doing anything.
And you can't win like that.
You can't win like that. There's no possible way to win like that ever. And I feel like until the Jazz changes that recipe, because they've always tried to do that, they're never going to go anywhere. It's the most pointless way to play. You just can't do it.
If I was them, the move I would make, go get DeMarcus Cousins. You can use DeMarcus Cousins. Whether he's starting or coming off the bench, that's the type of guy you need.
And then who would you go with? Kelly Olynyk or DeMarcus Cousins as a starter?
I would go with DeMarcus Cousins, me personally, but
and then you have a solid starter, Kelly Olynyk, coming off the bench for that second unit.
Yeah.
It just complements everything.
That's what I would do. But
we're not
what
coaching.
do I know? Other than the fact that I said Boston needed Malcolm Brogdon, and then Malcolm Brogdon ended up on the side.
You called that right.
Let's see if we can go 2 for 2.
See, I said I wanted to get into the Manu versus Crawford with you since you said you was going to pop up, right? But now I'm kind of thinking, should we get into the Manu or should we get into the team leaders? I don't know.
We can touch on both.
I think it's better.
We can touch
team
on both.
Team leaders as in what aspect?
Because I asked Mel, I guess we're doing team leaders. I asked Mel, what was it? We was talking about like people leading the team, and I forgot who are we talking about?
It was the best player the best player necessarily doesn't
lead the team. Right.
Doesn't lead the team. And the most vocal person isn't the leader of the team as well.
Isn't always the leader. Okay, bad.
So I asked him.
Matter of fact, Mulich, you would understand this better because this was the argument that we had. He tried to tell me. He tried to debate.
I hate that.
He tried to say that Draymond Green was the leader of the Golden State Warriors. I said no. Steph is the leader of the Golden State Warriors, but Draymond is the heart of the Golden State Warriors.
That's true.
Because they follow Steph. How Steph goes, the team goes. But the heart and soul of Golden State is still Draymond Green.
The reason why Steph is a leader, and a lot of people will kind of combat me on this, but the reason why Steph is the leader is because everything goes through Steph. There's not a decision that's made about the team, throughout the team, or with the team that Steph's not looped in on first. Now, a lot of people will say Draymond was part of that meeting, blah, blah, blah. Draymond was part of that meeting because he walked in the fucking room and didn't want to leave. But they didn't call Draymond like, hey, Draymond, we're discussing some things about the team, blah, blah, blah. We need you to be part of this meeting. No, they call Steph Curry. That's what they call. They're calling Steph Curry. So, but when you're out on the court, like I'm watching highlights right now, when you're out on the court, it can seem like Draymond is the leader because he's rallying the troops, because he's out there getting everybody hyped and he's making certain plays and he's talking to the young guys and getting guys engaged and involved. But when it comes to the in-house decisions, and this is the thing that's different between leaders and people who are the heart of the team or basically vocalists, when there comes to specific decisions about the team and they're only coordinated, they're only going to one person, we know who the leader is. That's the leader of the team.
And Steph leads differently than.
No, 100%. I can agree with you.
Like most people, he definitely leads differently than most people.
In this debate, I was kind of trolling, is doing my thing.
Yeah,
Whiskey Troy was present.
It's a valid question, so I started asking Mel.
Whiskey Troy was definitely present.
Yeah,
Whiskey Troy was present.
I didn't even have no whiskey, but but I started asking, which it turned into a good conversation because now you start thinking about who's the lead on each team. And it's funny to me because the same concept I said why Draymond in my mind would be the guy who leads the Warriors is the same reason why I say ask them who's the leader on the Heat.
Right.
I think that's a better question though.
Because to
I
me,
said I said Jimmy Butler.
it's Udonis Haslam. That's just to me. That's just to
That's
me.
not outrageous to say though.
You
It's
feel me?
outrageous, bro.
No, it's
No,
not.
okay,
It's
but like,
No,
outrageous.
it's
okay, but Mel, you gotta
not.
think about it like this. Why is UD there?
For no
He's an
other reason
assistant
than the
coach.
lead.
He's an assistant coach.
No,
I
he's
mean, at this
not.
point, you can damn near
He's
classify
a
him as
spot
that.
on the
But
roster, bro. He's a
he's still
spot
on the
on the
roster.
roster.
He's still getting paid as a player. The only
Because
reason
they
they
don't.
have him
He's an
there,
extra coach. That's how you put that
Nah,
extra
bro. I don't
coach
want to
in
hear
there
that BS,
because you don't
man.
got it in
I
the
just,
salary.
He's
I
the
just feel like,
leader.
He is
they
not the.
know,
He's
You
staying
they
can't
know,
lead
strong
like
if
on
you
his
don't.
UD's
shit.
You
not
can't.
playing. Like,
You can't lead if you're not playing. Ain't
Nigga,
nobody
you can
listen.
lead. You can lead and not play.
Mulich. Or would you ever listen to anybody on the bench that does not play?
if he looked like
And
Debo, possibly.
and and let's just say he was on the team for 12 years. 12 years he's
Definitely
on the team.
listening to him. Definitely
But
listening to
he not
D.
playing, he not doing, he
He
just
not
putting on
playing at the
clothes.
moment he talking to
He
you, but
just
he played
he just
before. Stop it.
okay.
Stop it.
He played
Stop
really
it.
good
How many rings he got? How many
8
rings he
years
got?
ago.
How many
Played
8
rings
really
he
years
good.
got?
8 years
ago.
ago, dang.
How
8
many
years
reaches
ago.
he got? How many rings he got?
Oh, man.
One.
Okay.
One?
All right. He got more than the nigga that's not listening to him. You better listen to
Oh,
that
But
boy.
dang.
Jimmy Butler he's the leader of that team.
Nah.
I just feel like UD is there for a reason, and
He's
that
there for a
reason
reason, bro, and it's the lead.
is,
No, he
I'm just
is.
saying that
He's
reason
there to
is
get
to
the
lead.
Why?
he's
So if
he's
Jimmy Butler is such the leader, why was Udonis Haslam wanting to beat Jimmy up for what Jimmy was doing and saying? That's the leader, bro.
That is
The
the
leader is
funniest
the
thing
one that
ever.
puts the ass whoopings down,
Did
right?
That
you
is the
not
funniest
read
thing
Jimmy
ever.
Draymond
Butler's
puts the
lips?
ass
Did
whoopings
you
down, right?
not
We know that
read
from
Jimmy
score.
Butler's lips?
We know
Jimmy
that from
Butler looked him dead in
score
the
that
face and was
Draymond
like,
puts
I
the ass
will
whoopings down.
fuck you up.
We know from score.
That's why it was funny, because
We
Jimmy
know
was
for
like, I ain't going,
sure.
dog. What's up?
We know for sure that Udonis Haslam put the ass whoopings down. We know that for
He ain't
sure.
whooping Jimmy Butler ass. We can all put
And
money
he was
on
about
that.
to whoop it that day, Jimmy.
No,
They was
he was
gonna rumble
talking.
on the
It
court, and
wasn't gonna
Eric
rumble.
He,
Spoelstra
It
was
wasn't
gonna
gonna
be
rumble.
like,
he
Eric
was
Spoelstra was
talking
gonna
it.
come in and get
Eric
his licks
Spoelstra was
in.
gonna have to do what you call it, the one that grabbed the player leg. What's his name?
What's his name?
Um,
Van Gundy.
I was gonna
Van
say Van
Gundy.
Gundy.
Grab some legs, brother. Grab some legs.
Be out there holding on for dear life.
But yeah, that's all. We was just thinking about leaders on teams. But let's get to this mono thing. We got some time. You feel me? He was the original guy who had the conversation with me when I said, if we're talking six men, and we're talking about the original conversation was a guy who can place Clay, and the Warriors still win 4 titles. And the two names that within the 6-man role we were talking about was Jamal Crawford and Manu Ginobili. And Mel told me only said Manu fit in that role is because he played next to Tim Duncan. And I don't think that's fair to Manu. I think Manu gets an unfair, underrated rap because he played next to Tony Parker and Tim Duncan. And a lot of players, played against guys that were better than them. A lot of players played against guys that had bigger names than them, not necessarily more skilled than them, but had bigger roles than them on the team. And I just feel like Manu's placement and his role in Greg Popovich's system, it fit him so perfectly that Greg can put him on the bench. And it will work out best for him because now he has a guy he trusts coming off the bench that's going to consistently give him not just points, that's going to move the ball, that can facilitate the offense, that can penetrate and draw defenses in to kick out. Like Manu does a lot on the floor that Jamal Crawford does not do.
In San Antonio.
No, I know you say that because Manu has only played on San Antonio. But we can take who Manu is. We can take
I'm gonna do this.
That team.
I'm gonna do this. Mullet. I think my comparisons are always pretty good. Mullet, you tell me if I'm wrong on this. So So the conversation was removing Clay Thompson,
Yes,
right?
and plucking the guy
And re-
in, and they still
and
win.
replacing that person, whether it's Manu or Jamal Crawford. Now, I say Manu and Jamal Crawford, I don't think neither one of them can replace what Clay Thompson is to Golden State because the skill sets are completely different. So neither one of them shoot the way Clay Thompson shoots or play deep or plays defense like Clay Thompson.
But Manu is more capable of playing that type of defense than Jamal Crawford. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna go there with that.
Okay.
But okay. So if we're gonna say that, then I can say I'll add that. But then Manu can't play the type of offense Jamal Crawford can play. But I think we have a better visual of what Jamal Crawford would look like in Golden State because I said Jordan Poole plays a similar game to Jamal Crawford.
I don't agree with that.
And off the dribble shooter. Now, Jamal Crawford doesn't shoot as well as Jordan Poole, but the ability to create off the dribble, get into the lane, make layup, do all of that stuff. We know what a Jamal Crawford type player would look in Golden State because that's Jamal Crawford. That's Jordan Poole.
We've seen Jamal Crawford in Golden State too, by the way. But
Right.
That was long, but I'm talking about with the Steve Kerr
Ages ago.
offense. That's what Jamal Crawford would look like. He would look like Jordan Poole. Now, Manu, that's a different animal to work with because we don't know. Because Manu would have to have the ball in his hands. So if he has the ball in his hands, does that mean Draymond doesn't have the ball in his hands? Or Steph?
Do you think Steve Kerr would use Manu how the Spurs use Manu only because Steve Kerr came up in that system, not came up, but he was involved in that system as well when he was a player. Do you think Steve Kerr would defer from using Manu the same as Pop, or do you think that he would try to use him the same as Clay and maybe try and see that doesn't work and maybe try to adjust on the fly, but that adjustment doesn't work or that just may be too late?
The reason this is why it's hard to make the judgment is because Manu couldn't start with Tony Parker. He had to come off the bench.
That's true.
He had to do that. Like it wasn't because because Manu does need the ball. He's a facilitator. He's a playmaker. So he's going to have a ball in his hand. So if you put him in Golden State, that's why I asked who doesn't, is it Steph or is it Draymond? Because one of them have to come off the ball now. Steph would be more likely to do it because he's capable of playing off ball. But like I said, if he's filling the Klay Thompson role, Jamal Crawford is better suited to do that. Because we saw Jamal Crawford on the court at the same time with Chris Paul. And we saw how that worked.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
I just think what Manu gives, especially, I think if you plug Manu in with Steph, I think Draymond would have to. His role diminishes at that point because Draymond is a playmaker / facilitator / defensive player, right? But at that point, if you have Manu, he would take over the playmaker / facilitating role, which honestly,
it would give Draymond more energy to play defense in this.
I would say it would give Draymond more energy to play defense. I wouldn't.
And that's why I said Golden State becomes more versatile adding a guy like Manu because Manu can do more on the floor. No, neither one of them are going to replace Clay shooting. The closest thing to Clay shooting will be Jamal Crawford, but the closest thing to helping them win those 4 titles, and we're plucking Clay out and putting a nut guy there. So that means that we're plucking Clay out. We don't know what Golden State looks like because Clay's not there. So we don't know what type, but we're plucking one of these guys in. I think they have more success with Manu than they do with Jamal Crawford.
But my thing is, like you said, but now what happens is, what do you do with Draymond Green on offense?
And that'll be the only problem. Because you would have to ask Draymond.
What are you saying? What do you do with Draymond on offense? Like,
I'm saying with Manu there, if like you said, if Manu's now facilitating and doing the Draymond stuff on offense, what do you do with Draymond Green on offense?
You would have to ask him to hit knockdown shots, and that would be a problem.
With Jamal Crawford, nothing changes. Everything stays the same. Because you, like I said, you've
no, it
seen it
doesn't because
with
Jamal
George,
Crawford does
with
not play defense, so a lot changes.
That's the only that's
no,
the
but
slide.
Losing
no,
the
but like
defensive,
no,
that's
but
another thing, Mel. Losing the defensive end of Clay, it's going to
but like
hurt
I
the
said,
Warriors more than keeping the offensive end of Clay, right?
that's
So if
why
I put
I use Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole does not play great defense.
I can see why you say that.
Okay, all right.
I can see why you say that. No,
All
okay,
right,
I can.
he's
I
a
can
young
now see
player.
why
He
you
still
say that.
has to develop. We're not talking about young Jamal Crawford here or young
No,
Manu.
we're talking about
developed
style of.
prime guys,
I'm talking about
right? At their peak.
style of.
We're
I'm talking
talking
about
at their
style of
right.
play.
But we're
His
talking
style
about
of
at
play
their
is
peak.
closer to Jamal Crawford.
But Jordan Poole couldn't replace Klay Thompson and they win 4 championships either. It's
They
what
won
I'm
a
saying.
championship last year.
If you are to take Klay out and put Jordan Poole into them 4 years, they do not win 4
Jordan Poole.
championships. Stop doing that.
Jordan Poole had a
Stop doing it.
career year
Stop
last
doing it.
year.
Yes.
He averaged almost 30 points.
Thanks to Klay being injured. Let's not forget the context behind it. Because if Klay is not injured, Poole probably does not get as much time as he got played. Let's not do that. And let's not act like Poole is just coming and getting all this time and Klay is playing.
But that's the point we're making. If we replaced him, so with Klay being gone, Jordan Poole stepped in and had a career
but Jordan
year.
Poole plays a different type of game than Klay Thompson. That's why they didn't utilize.
It's closer to Jordan. It's closer to Jamal Crawford's game.
No, well, I don't agree with you there. That Poole is not close to Jamal Crawford. I don't look at their game as being a similar type of game. That's just me. I don't. But what I'm saying is,
I can see why he says that though.
If you put Jamal Crawford in that and the Golden State lineup for those 4 years and play those finals over with Jamal Crawford, they're going to lose because Jamal Crawford lacks defense. If I put Manu in that position, their defense will stay the same, right? Because it'll become the only thing that would change is on the defensive is.
But like I said, your defense gets better.
They become more of a help defensive team, right? They play more as a unit on the defensive end because Manu doesn't have the ability to stick the number 1 guy on a team, right? He can stick your number 2, number 3 guy, that's fine, but he doesn't have the ability like Klay to get on the best guy and stick them out of however many possessions you want to say that. But
he generates more steals though, which generates more turnovers.
At 40 possessions a game, Manu's at 20, and Clarkson's at what, 0? He's not sticking no best player on the team, bro. He's not. That's going to hurt the Warriors. They're going to pick on him on defense. You can't really do that with Manu because Manu plays a solid type of defense that Golden State can use. And then he can get you 16 points off the bench.
But
16 points in a game.
But their offense suffers because you're playing 4-on-5. What do you do with Draymond Green?
No, I don't think their offense suffers. I don't because Draymond, you saying that Draymond has to knock down, but Draymond can still be the cutter that he is, cutting to the basket, fighting for rebounds, second chance points. But he doesn't just have to have the ball. Let me throw the ball to Draymond. Draymond, go create your shot. Go get me a bucket, Dre. Like, no, that's not Draymond anyway.
Draymond initiates the offense.
Right, for Klay, though. It's for Klay. He doesn't initiate the offense for himself.
No, Draymond initiates the entire offense.
Right.
What are you talking about?
For Steph, though, it's initiated for Steph, though. When Draymond, most of the time when Draymond has the ball, what's happening? There's a double screen on the wing for Steph with Klay somewhere in it, and then the ball goes to one of those two, or it's kicked to somebody else that's closer so they can have a clear line to kick it to Klay or Steph. That's what Draymond does with the ball in his hand. He facilitates the offense so the ball finds Klay, Steph, or Klay.
Right, but you just said, so if Manu is doing that now,
right,
then
but
what
I'm not
do you
saying,
do
I never said
Draymond?
Manu had to come in and do it. I said Manu could do it. I said in my particular words was when you take Klay out the game and when you take Steph out the game, Manu can then be your facilitator because he has that arsenal. That's what.
But we're talking about
my original statement.
But we're talking about him in the starting lineup. You said starting lineup.
Right.
You said starting
and
lineup.
there's a lot of times when somebody goes out and starter stays in. Brown to go out, Tatum stays in.
But that's not. You're talking about substitutions. We're just talking about in the starting lineup.
Curry goes getting rest right from the starting lineup. You don't take not everybody takes their whole 5 out. right? So I'm saying if you leave Manu in when you rest the other guys in the first and after the 9 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever you rest them, if you leave Manu in, Manu can then take the facilitation route. That's what I said. I never said Manu was going to come in and start
But those
facilitating
are
for the team.
I would switch
two
him.
different. But those are two different conversations, though.
No,
I
but
would switch him.
but that was my original statement. My original statement was when I said you can put Manu on the team was that when Steph goes and sits on the bench, Manu can then facilitate the team. I never said Manu was going to go in and help with the facilitating in the
No,
starting.
I
you
would
said
switch him.
replace him, but you said replace Klay Thompson.
Right. And the things
So
that Manu
when,
can do, and in the context of me saying Manu's facilitating, I was saying in the sense of when Steph is not on the floor, not while
but
Steph
that's
is
not,
on the floor. Because
but
I
that's not
believe
how
that
that.
even when Steph and Draymond is on the floor, Draymond can still do what he do. You're not relegating that task to Manu. You're thinking of it that way, but I'm not. Only thing I'm asking Manu to do is to create some shots when I get you the ball because he can get to the basket. I can use him to penetrate and kick for Steph Curry. Like there's a lot of things you can use Manu for that I don't think Jamal Crawford in that same system will fit. Like I just don't. Like everybody say, if you go back to the 2017, you can add anybody to that team and they still win. I don't think so. And I don't think if you add
That's not
every
true.
superstar, every star to that team, the road is as easy as it was for them.
That's not
That
true.
changes
Can't
things.
just add anybody because KD was perfect for that
Right,
system.
that changes things. And that's what I'm saying for Manu. Manu changes things for him. It gives them a different aspect where they can utilize him in ways. If Steph got injured for 10 games, guess what? Manu, you in that role because now I could depend on you to facilitate my offense and get guys involved. I'm
I
not
would switch
saying
him.
Draymond's not good at it, but when I need Manu to do it, he can do it. It's just something added extra. But you still get a similar type of defense, not the same level of defense, but Manu's not that far. It's probably like between Manu and Klay. I would give you a little gap between their defense. But I think Manu in that help defense system, like, no, he would kill it in that help defense because KD went there and killed it in that help defense system. And people were saying KD wasn't a good defender before he went to Golden State.
I would switch him. If I had Manu in the starting lineup, and if we're asking what we're doing with Draymond, I would literally just switch their roles. I would have Draymond continue to do what he's doing, facilitate, play make, and do everything. And because Manu is a better shooter, because he is a better person that can create his shot, I would just have Manu take that Klay role. Now, of course, he's not going to shoot as efficient as Klay, but because I know that he can create his own shot, and I know that he can get to the rack, I know that he can possibly get somebody else open. I'm going to have him take that more of that kind of role than a pure knockdown shooting role. And I'm not going to stress Draymond by having him forced to take more shots. And I know that's not his strong suit. So I would literally just switch them. And my offense doesn't really it takes a slouch because I don't have as powerful or I don't have as efficient 3-point shooting, but I still can get points at the basket. Like, that's my thing. As long as we're scoring on possessions, I'm not really worried. Now, it does, like I said, it does take a slouch with the 3-ball, but on the other side, if we're playing great defense, which I know, and it's the thing about Manu, he does generate more steals than Klay. So if we're talking about turnovers, creating other shots of baskets, changing trajectory of shots, I would definitely say that the defense doesn't take a slouch either because now, although I may be trading more points, I'm also getting more turnovers because Manu is generating more steals. If I have two players that generates, say Draymond is at 1.9, 1.8 steals a game, and I have Manu
But
1.3, 1.2.
we do understand that just because you generate steals, that doesn't mean that you're playing the same type of defense
True.
as
That's true.
somebody
No, it's not about playing the same
who is
type
a
Very
of
true.
lockdown
defense.
defender, right?
That's
It's
very
not,
true
and I
because
said that. I said it's not about him playing a lockdown style, but he fits into that help defense where he can play a good enough individual defense that the help defense is always going to be there. That's what Golden State runs anyway. They run help defense, so nobody's really on an island by them damn selves. Not even Klay Thompson.
not even
Not
Draymond.
even Klay. He's never really on an island by him damn self because there's always somebody behind him to help. That's how they run their system. So
And
I'm taking that same thing when I'm putting Manu in there. I'm taking the same thing when you put Jamal Crawford in it. And
this is the
if
thing that
Jamal Crawford is there, it's going to be a lot of needing help on that help side. On
and
that
this is the
backside, he's
thing
going to
about
need a lot of
Clay's
help there.
defense.
Where
This is the thing
Manu
about
ain't going to
Clay's
need as much
defense.
help. And then Manu can knock down a jumper. He's a good 3-point shooter. He's a good and he has a good field goal percentage. So I don't
And
see where the drop off from Klay to Manu is. Like I understand the drop off because they're two different players. Klay is in a level above him. But I'm saying if we're gonna take a guy between Manu and Jamal and say who has the more success with Golden State, I'm taking Manu.
This is the thing about Clay's defense. It's not that he plays lockdown defense. He forces you into bad shots because he's a big ass defender. He's long, he's tall. He cuts off your initial moves. He cuts off that first step. This is the thing. This is the reason why Clay is going to have to change the aspects of his game now. Is because when you suffer a serious leg injury like that, you can't push off the same, right? Like even me, when I tore my patellar tendon, I can't plant the same, can't push off the same, so I have to become a different player, right? Doesn't matter how hard you work, doesn't matter. It's just the quick twitch muscles, right? Clay was very good at taking away that first step. If you go back and watch the finals where he held Kyrie to under 10 points, he took away Kyrie's first step. Was Kyrie very good at his first step? You take away that, you force him into bad shots. That's what Clay is good at. Because he can't do that now, everybody's going around and boop, up, quick first step. He's not there anymore. He can't just jump, I'm here, and force somebody into a bad shot. That's the difference between Clay's defense and Manu's defense, to where if we're running a help defense, which we normally do, Manu's going to be more in pass lane. That's going to be his thing. Get your hands up. Get your hands in the passing. Get your hands in passing. That's how Steph got steal leader that 1 year. Like that 1 year where everybody, oh my God, Steph Guts, he plays great defense. He a steal leader. He was in pass lanes. He was robbing all the pass lanes. That's
even like that. But he's playing better defense now than he did then.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I give Steph a lot of respect for that, because as far as one-on-one defense, like without help, because there are a lot of situations where Steph is on an island at the top of the key, and he has to, because all the other players are, we're in a man type defensive situation. He has played a lot better defense. His steals have dropped, but he has played a lot better defense, and he's forcing players into worse shot selections. So I do give Steph his credit for that. That is one thing that he definitely has, taken it out, because he used to take a lot of slouch on the defensive takes, man. Like a lot of people came at him for his defense, but it's just because he's small now, so it's a mismatch. That's the only thing.
All right, moving on. Talking about Clay. Clay dropped 41 the other night. How y'all feeling about that? Is Clay back?
He's not back yet.
Clay was woo.
He's not back,
at
but
the end was woo. That was a good ass game.
That dude right now, and I've said this before, like when everybody did their preseason rankings of who's the best player in the world and yada yada, and they had Steph like 6 or 7, and I'm like, there's never been a point where someone has won the NBA championship and they won at least 1 or 2 best player in the league. But Steph Curry doesn't get that same respect. And you look at his numbers now, he's shooting 53% from the field, 45% from 3, and 92% from 3. From the free throw line. And he's averaging 32 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Like if LeBron did that, they jizz on themselves.
You're not lying.
Because if Steph was doing that, like Steph's doing it and no one's talking about it. Like no one's saying anything about it. And it's weird to me.
I just seen something on, what did I see that at? I seen something.
Even last night, 32 points, 15 assists, or 12 assists. I can't remember how many it was. And like 8 rebounds. No one said anything. Didn't say anything. That's crazy to me.
Yep, 33, 15, 7, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Goodness gracious.
No one said nothing.
Bro, that stat line is crazy. Did y'all hear it? 33. Let me say that again for the people in the back, because I know y'all not really listening. 33 points, 15 assists, 7 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. He's a point guard.
He's a point guard. At 6'3" point guard.
At 6'3".
And no one said, if LeBron would have did that, they would have shut ESPN down.
Bro, that is insane. That stat line is crazy. I seen this though on Bleacher Report. I seen this, and it says rank these 3: Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, and Luka Doncic.
Steph Tatum.
Now I say that to say this, because the point you just bring up, Mel. Steph Curry is a 4-time champion.
Yeah.
How many championships Luka got?
2-time MVP.
How many championships Jason Tatum got?
0.
How many MVPs either one of them got?
0.
And they're comparing them to Steph Curry, somebody who just won a championship and won the Finals MVP. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
They don't. There's no respect for that dude. 0. There's no respect for him.
That's crazy.
And that's not to disrespect Luka, or it's not disrespect to Luka or Tatum. I think they're great young players, but they're not on the level of Steph Curry. But that's what they would want you to think.
That's crazy. That is insane. And I love Jason Tatum, Duke boy. I'm a Duke Blue Devil.
I am mad. Like Jason Tatum is going to be the next one once he puts it all together.
He's a scary player. He's a very scary player. Hey, Troy, I got a question. Do you think Jaylen Brown is going to stay on the Celtics for long? Because he's really outspoken right now.
They benched him, bro.
Hey, I know he's really outspoken right now, bro. Like he's been going on. Like I follow him on Twitter. He's been going off a lot about some things, and I know he definitely does not agree with the Kyrie situation at all. Now I don't know if that contributed to him being benched or anything like that. I don't want to say that.
That's exactly why he got. I'll say it. That's why he got benched.
I wanted to ask: do you feel that he will be a part of the Celtics organization for long?
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
We'll see.
He ain't going nowhere. It has nothing to do with the Celtics. It has everything to do with the league. If you're talking about he got benched for the Kyrie everything, that came down from the league, not Boston. They just put it on Boston to do it, so it wouldn't look like the league was making him shut up.
The league doesn't have the power to do that.
Yes, the league does. Yes, the league.
I'm just saying because he's been very
Adam
outspoken
Silver
about
picks up his phone. Hey, what's up?
Adam Silver works for the owners. The owners don't work for him.
Okay. Yeah, and Adam remembers that when the owners need something for him because he's in a position to do stuff too that he does not need the owners to. That's why he has the position of the NBA commissioner, right? Like,
but he works for the owners.
Right, that's fine. But the owners, like, there's still a system that's in place. So what I'm saying is, even if it wasn't Adam and it was the owners, if it came down from the owners, then that's even worse. So that the owners would make a call and be like, "Yo, he's got to sit." It's not that's a Boston thing. No, I don't see it as a Boston thing. Like, why would Boston make him sit because he said that he didn't agree with the way they handled the Kyrie thing?
Because they sat their coach for fucking one of the execs.
That's totally different things. But okay, we can go there.
They have a history. That's what I'm saying.
No, I know Boston's history. I'm very, very clear on the history, but that has nothing to do with Jason Tatum speaking out on something that wasn't right and Emmanuel Udoka thinking with his fucking long head.
Right, but on top, the comparison that I'm making the comparisons with is that
we're talking about guys long head.
The league, I mean the team didn't have to make it public, and if they were that upset,
we're not gonna get back into this Udoka shit. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but if they were that upset with Ime Udoka, then they just would have fired
him. And I'm with you on that. Everybody knows I stand on that. If Boston was going to do anything, they should have just fired his ass. But I get you. But I'm not getting back on him. But
I'm just saying there was no reason to bench Jaylen Brown. There was no reason to bench Jaylen.
Hey, he's been having hamstring injuries. Maybe he felt some tightness and he needed to be sit down. I don't know.
I mean,
the only reason why I asked is because he's been very outspoken.
I don't have no sources in Boston to tell you guys what's going
on. He was very outspoken, and he's been very outspoken as of lately. I didn't know he got benched. Honestly, that was news to me. I just knew that he was very outspoken as of lately, and then on top of that, he was one of the first ones to speak up about the Ime Udoka situation as well. So I just wanted to know that. I don't know if he was, I don't know, man. I just want to know. You think he was on his way out or something? What I'm saying.
But let's get into this. Ben asks the Sixers, no Embiid. You guys think Ben has a good game back in the Sixers, back in Philly?
I hope he does. Because if he has a bad game, his mental health gonna go right down the toilet again.
Listen, you gotta stop doing that now. Like,
what?
I mean, he did attribute Philly's fans to part of his mental health. So I can understand that point.
Mental health ain't going nowhere. If he gonna go in Philly, he gonna drop 20 28 and 10.
I'm saying he better,
At the end
because
of
if
the
he
day, they're gonna
don't,
be cheering Sam in,
he
Sam
he
in,
gonna
Sam
he
in.
gonna get booed, and he gonna get booed, and those
He know
boos
he
get
gonna get
loud
booed.
and
You don't
shit.
think he know that? He
No, he's
don't
gonna
care
get
about
booed
that.
regardless. But I think if Mel saying like if he
Don't care
goes
about
in
that.
there and has a shitty goddamn game,
Yeah,
oh
I don't think he
man,
care about that either.
he gonna go to
oh
turn. Oh
man,
no, he
he probably
cares.
don't care
No,
He
about that.
don't
I hope
care.
he doesn't
He
now.
don't care about that.
I
I'm
hope
telling
he
you, he
doesn't.
don't care about this shit.
I hope he
telling
doesn't
you.
now.
I'm telling you, he
all
don't
right.
care about it.
Well, that's what mental health is. He cares.
But yeah, so
I think he should be fine. I don't
yeah,
think he's
I
gonna
think
have
he'll have a
crazy
solid
ass
game.
game though. I think
I don't think he's gonna
15,
have no crazy
maybe
game.
like 7, 8, 9 boards, and yeah, that's about
That's a good Ben Simmons game right now.
it. That's a solid game for him. I'm not gonna give him no outrageous stuff like no 20 points and 10. I'm not
If
gonna give him
he
no triple double or no double double or
The
anything like
only way I was just about to say, the only way he can really shut them, he better go out. He go out and get like a 15, 10, 12 triple double.
that. Yeah,
He'd be all
like
right.
he goes out there and gets a triple double, then I'm like, okay, all right, Ben, put some things together then. But
He go
I
out
don't see
there
it yet.
and put up a Draymond Green triple single.
And we gotta be careful with that. That's what got Jordan Poole punched.
Hey, don't get decked out here. But I'm done on mine. You guys got anything? Or we singing final thoughts?
I just want to say something real quick about the Kings, man. I know they're on a 6-game winning streak, but just like the Jazz, and De'Aaron Fox has been playing some really, really good basketball right now. He is their quote unquote superstar. I'm not going to classify him as a superstar, but he is their quote unquote superstar. They got the whole light the beam thing because they're winning and stuff like that. Look, you guys have to put together a string of wins with top competition, teams that you guys are supposed to beat in order to become a good team. I know they're ranked 5 right now, top five seed, but they have to put together a string of wins against great competition and then once you do that during the regular season, because that's when people start to actually take you guys seriously, you have to do it in the playoffs. You can't be one and done. You can't be first round bounce. You can't be put it together now. Start to put shit together now. Start to put together a season. Now start to put together wins and this and that. All stars. Like start to produce stuff. And then do it in the playoffs. Now people are gonna start taking you seriously. But just because you guys are winning a few games against honestly bad teams, like let's be honest, bad teams, it does not mean you guys are doing anything, doesn't even mean you guys are making any moves. Start to put it together, do it in the playoffs, and then people will start to take you seriously.
Yeah, final thoughts, man.
Yo, everybody, please do us a favor. Like, subscribe, share these videos, man. Blow it up. Follow me, FTS Mel, on the TikTok. Got a lot of funny stuff going on over there, man. Like, come on. We got some things. Look at and that t-shirt. We'll do it this way. You see the t-shirt, the hoodie, and the hat.
Brand new merch, man. We got
Brand
some
new
merch
merch.
for y'all, man.
Shout out to my brother, Quite Last Word. He did that.
That's right.
We
Shout
got some
out.
more stuff coming in.
I went and met him firsthand, shook his hand.
Yeah. Like and subscribe, share the videos.
Movies, final thoughts?
Y'all know what it is, man. It's movies. We out here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. Follow us from the sideline. We're gonna see y'all Wednesday for the basketball show. And for the rest of the week, I am referred to as champ because my team won the flag football tourney. We out here, STE.
Way to go.
Right.
Congrats.
Champ. Who out here pulling flags? Not y'all. Who's out pulling them flags?
Who does this?